are you doing, Carl? It's like flying a kite almost. It's really working.
Hello there! Since I've posted a few videos featuring this Ryber 420 kayak, I've had quite a few questions about it, so I thought I'd do a more comprehensive review. So let's start with what you get in the box, or in the bag so to speak. You get the kayak, obvs. You get a very big bag in which to store and carry it in. You do need to be aware that this is quite a heavy beast. My nickname for this is Water Beast, as in what a beast, because it weighs about 20 kilos. There is a strap to bind it once you've got it kind of folded down. There are 2 seats. They are quite comfy, but I do prefer to use a cushion on them too. 2 footrests, a skeg with a locking clip, a pump. It's a decent pump, I just haven't got any footage of it. It has a pressure indicator on it too. So let's have a look at the boat. It's made up of 3 chambers, each obviously with its own valve. There are 2 sides and a bottom chamber. It can be inflated to around 15 to 18 is the recommended PSI. Now I haven't inflated it that high. I've done 10, inflated it to 10 PSI, but mostly just used about 8, and it's absolutely solid at 8. I've not had any issues with it. Inside the yak there are 4 sets of D-rings for seat and footrest attachment, and that does afford you quite a bit of flexible positioning in terms of where you put yourself, especially if you're paddling this solo. There are 4 carry handles, 1 at either end and 1 at either side in the middle. An unusual feature of this kayak is that, unlike many others, this one doesn't have tapered ends. They're a lot blunter with a rubber bumper, and I think there are pros and cons to that. I'm just not sure what they are. In my experience, this kayak tracks great, and it's not even bad without the skeg. It is better with it, but it's just not too bad without it, especially compared to lighter inflatables. And I think that's because it's heavy. As I say, it does weigh about 20 kilos. The one thing I find a drawback to this is, with it having high sides and it being quite wide, using a traditional paddle you tend to splash quite a lot of water in the boat because you have to dig the paddle quite deep into the water, and in doing so the other end lifts higher and throws water into the boat. That's even with drip rings on the paddle. The paddle that you can see here is a Winnerwell, and that's a 250cm paddle, and I thought I'd try that rather than the 220s in the hope that it would keep more water out of the boat, but it still has the same effect. Where this kayak comes into its own is in tandem formation, where you have 2 people in it, 1 at the front, 1 at the back, using 2 paddles, 1 either side. I've only tried that out once, but it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to actually try that out again, because it was just so much fun and so much easier, and you got quite a bit of pace on too. Morning.
Alright. Oh, that's nice and stable.
It's not bad actually.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. One of the most fabulous things about this is it's so stable. If you check this clip out here, you can see that I'm actually stood up in it. You can use it a little bit like a paddleboard, in the sense that you can stand on it and paddle too. And I've used a sail on it as well. So yeah, I do actually really like it. The drawbacks are it is weighty, high-sided. As I say, you do splash water in, but it's actually very strong and robust. Now, a couple of negative points. You might have noticed the tape on the sides of the kayak. The reason I put that duct tape on there is because there's a seam at that point, and when I was sat in a particular position paddling with the traditional paddle, my fingers were catching on that seam because the seam is facing the wrong direction. So I taped it up so that I could basically cover that seam without creating any lips for my fingers to catch on. And I think the other main drawback to this is that it doesn't have a drain valve. You do end up having to tip it to gather water at one of the ends, then roll it on its side to tip the water out of the top of the boat. And it does work, but you do get some still caught in the boat, and you do have to get that out if you're going to prevent mould and mildew and rot. Other than those little things, as I say, I think it's a great craft. It does feel more like a boat on the water than any other inflatable I've ever been in. It feels so solid. Somebody commented the other day as they were in hardshell canoes, and they commented about how stable it looked, and it just is. It just rock solid on the water. I hope you found that useful. If you have, please let me know in the comments. If you do have one of these, or you have another high-sided craft and you have any tips for helping keep water out of the boat with the paddles, I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Let me know what you don't like in the comments. And if you subscribe to the channel, YouTube will give you a notification when you open it up, just to say that I've uploaded any other videos. Alright, see you later. Take care.